Episode 5 is now out, moving Wheel of Time past the halfway mark of the season. After the absolute masterstroke of cinematic storytelling that was Episode 4, anything that came after would be hard-pressed to match its intensity. But Episode 5 built upon the subplots set up in the premiering episodes and took us through all the different locations in the show. Everywhere you look, the stakes are on the rise. The politicking in the White Tower, Rand and Moiraine's pursuit of their destinies, and Perrin's rescue of the Coffin girls. And to top it all off, Egwene's dream-walking moment, and God, that was well done. It got us all excited about where we're headed from here. So let's get into this episode and revisit the repercussions of each narrative within it in the Ending Explained. This video will be spoiler heavy, but we're not getting into any book stuff, so don't worry about that. And real quick, before we get too far into it, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing. It's a small click for you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. The episode from a vantage point. Episode 5, Teleran Riad, touched up on all the subplots we've got so far. But the ones that stood out for us were Perrin's rescue of the Coffin girls, Moiraine's withdrawal from her visions in Rudion, and Egwene's stint in the dream world. From a cinematic standpoint, we loved the shots of the rocky Aiel waste with its sandy expanses. Every wide shot we got, especially towards the beginning of the episode, was mesmerizing. The whole episode was backed by a stirring score which enhanced each and every narrative playing out on screen. The channeling by Moiraine, as well as the wind finders in the sea, were awe-inspiring. We loved watching that part. The showrunner held back the main story arc of the Dragon Reborn becoming Kare Karn in this episode while focusing on Moraine's dilemma after she peeped her many futures. Egwene's training to control herself in the Teleran Riad has an ugly payoff at the end, but for me, the tea of the episode was Perrin's story. That's really what brought the excitement and tragedy here. So let's get this show on the road with a full spoilerific episode review and ending explained. Episode 5 in review. At the Aiel Waste. This episode opens with a display of the beautiful and terrible power of the Sakarnin, with Moiraine struggling to understand it while also being enraptured by it. There's nothing not to love about the wide circling shots of Moiraine standing on the Aiel rocks in the middle of the desert with the sun in the back, which gives us a full feel of Moraine's experience with the Sakarnin, her powers getting amped to a level where she can no longer control them. Not yet, anyways. We previously caught this part in the sneak peek that dropped before the episode. Lan describes the power Moiraine siphons with the Sakarnin as euphoric, and we feel that as we watch Moiraine create those large waves of channeling all around her. In a recent cast appearance on the Dusty Wheel show, Rosamund Pike explains the power Moiraine feels with the Sakarnin. She says the ability to enhance her powers was an experience that's terrifying, delicious, erotic, and confusing all at the same time. She said that Moiraine does not know exactly how she feels about it, but she also knows that the only person she can discuss this with who can understand what she's going through is Rand. This is because Rand is the only one she knows who has that great level of power at his disposal and felt its pull towards the good and the worst. So this is what will bring Moiraine and Rand together going forward. Okay, back at the Aiel Waste, Bear, Ruark, and their posse, along with Rand and his, gather at the Cold Rock's hold. The Wise are to gather in a dream and decide Rand's Kare Karn status. We once again see Avienda's lingering distrust for Rand, and we have a feeling she's not the only one. To Avienda's distaste, Bear puts her on active Rand duty. And may we just say we loved Avienda's look as a spear maiden a lot more than her Wise One apprentice look. We know, it doesn't matter, but just saying. Avienda does look like a completely different person now, which is symbolic of her changing ideals and goals. Here, the show takes us deeper into the Aiel Waste as well as the culture of the people, and it's beautifully done. We're introduced to Ruark's younger wife, Leanne, the Roof Mistress. Okay, so here, Bear refers to Egwene as Egwene Sedai, mind you. So some might wonder what's going on with that. She then asks Egwene to join her in some dreamwalking, which is the start of all the dreamwalking that's to follow in this episode. Bear warns Egwene not to enter Teleran Riad, or the World of Dreams, before she or Moiraine ask her to, because death in the dream world means death in the real world too. It's kind of like the Matrix set in a different world, if you will. Bear tries to teach Egwene to control her dreams, but Egwene makes a rookie mistake. She ends up entering Teleran Riad, where Lanfear almost chokes her. Bear and Moiraine save her by bringing her back. They're all taken aback by the Forsaken hunting her, which is a little odd, as we thought Egwene already knew that Lanfear was out to get her in the dream world. Afterwards, Egwene packs up her stuff and moves in with the Wise Ones, leaving Rand. The moment flickered with the gloom of a separation that felt final. There's also a moment that Lan spends with Melindra in this episode where we feel his shame over not remembering his people and his longing to connect to Malkier. Later, when he sits with Moiraine, we find out what it is that has been really troubling her. She confesses that in the ring in Ruidion, she saw that in the future, either she would live or Rand. Both of them together would not be there to face the last battle. While Lan lightens up some of the fog she carried with her from the Ruidion with some Aiel brew, Moiraine still goes on to warn Swan of what's coming, but that happens later. First, it is Rand that dreams that night, and of course Lanfear walks into it, as she does, like every time. He reminds her of what she was before she took her dark oaths. Lanfear professes her love for him and they kiss, and we'll tell you this, we know she's bad, but their chemistry together is absolute fire. Thereafter, two go dreamwalking. Moiraine and Egwene. Moiraine goes to see Siuan and tells her that the White Tower must bend to Rand for him to win the last battle. Another clip we saw in the sneak peek. They have a moment together where they hope for another lifetime where their love might be fulfilled, and I'm not gonna lie, I almost teared up here. Egwene, on the other hand, decides to test her dreamwalking skills and walks into all of her friends' dreams. Everyone seems happy, not a shadow to bear over them. We felt terrible when we saw Mat with his mother being so blissful, so proud of him. You'll see why in just a bit. Just as things couldn't get any prettier, Egwene finds herself inside Lanfear territory again as she walks into Rand's dream. She watches them make out, the poor dear. We had caught a glimpse of this in the season trailer, so here it is now. Alright, let's skip to the White Tower.
We've lost a few orders when one of three departs.
At the White Tower, Siuan Sanche has all sorts of trouble brewing around her. Elida threatens Siuan in a private audience. She tells her about her plans of calling a vote to cage the Dragon Reborn. Okay, we mentioned in previous videos about the amazing acting talent Wheel of Time has put up, and Shorey Agdashlu as Elida is another feather in WOT's cap. I mean, this woman just makes you despise her, one conniving conspiratorial scene at a time. She's still salty about Siuan besting her in the hall for the Amerlin seat, and this serves as her motivation. She takes one too many shots at Siuan too, which Siuan handles with grace, but we're left with the feeling that Siuan knows well that Elida's words are not to be taken lightly. There is one black Aja yet to be discovered within the White Tower, as we know, and from the premiering episodes, the needle of suspicion was on Varen Sedai. But Elida's recent scheming against Siuan has Siuan thinking it's her. She traps Elida, but quickly learns that she was wrong. Elida is not the Black Aja. The next storyline was that of the seafarers going to Tanchico. The road to Tanchico. Elaine, Nynaeve, Min, and Mat sailed to Tanchico, and Mat got himself some more reasons to brood as he saw a sketch of him hanging on a noose, one of Min's visions. There's some sea folk channeling in these scenes. The Windfinder's magic, which was beautiful to watch. The way the channeling has been shown in general in Season 3 is some of the best in Wheel of Time. They all disembark at Tanchico at the end. As they get into town, we catch a dead man hanging from a noose behind them, which gave us the creeps. It's like a reminder that it is in Tanchico that Min's vision may come to pass. But, in our opinion, the best part of the episode was the Two Rivers story. At the Two Rivers. The season trailer is packed with images of the army at Two Rivers, and we feel this part of the story is only going to get more exciting as the season progresses. It's about the rescue of the Cothans. At the White Cloaks camp, things got really nasty when Dane, the new leader of the White Cloaks, handed over Mat's mom, Natty, to Aemon. This was truly scary, we just knew nothing good would come of it. So, Perrin, Alana, Maxim, the two Aiel spear maidens, Chiad and Bane, and Fael set out for the rescue. But the tension between Alana and Maxim rises to a breaking point. They unbond. Maxim is still burning for some revenge on Liandrin, so he goes his separate way. We were so stricken by this that when he made his dramatic return to Alana in an action sequence with the White Cloaks, we were super hyped. Under the fog cover that Alana manifests, Perrin and the others enter the White Cloaks camp and get the Cothan girls, but they find Natty has been burned to death in true Aemon style. It was absolutely brutal and completely heartrending. Dane takes on Perrin, who's still reeling from the sight of the tortured dead Natty, and the unfinished business between them is finally settled. But this happens by Fael's hand rather than Perrin's. She subdues Aemon and then mortally injures Dane with a quick throw of the knife. This was the only sequence we got in this episode, and I was pretty happy with it. Ending explained. The episode ended with Egwene witnessing the worst. Rand and Lanfear together in a way she could have never imagined. Also, to end things off, there's no ding of the brass pin. So, will the dream continue in the next episode? Well, we've seen Egwene confront Rand by asking him if he loves her in the season's trailer, so that's likely to take place in the next episode. While Rand probably won't carry the Lanfear infatuation all the way to the end of the season, his relationship with Egwene definitely feels super stressed at this point. As for the main arc right now, that rests on Rand. Him becoming Kar-A Karn didn't factor much into episode 5, but it will surely come in strong in the upcoming episode, which means the whole Wise Ones gathering in Alcair Dal will be happening, and we're really looking forward to watching that. Now, Moiraine skips telling Siuan about her impending death if the Dragon Reborn was to live to fight the last battle when they meet in the dream. But before the end of the season, and likely after Siuan wades through all the Elida politicking that lies ahead and achieves the White Tower's backing of Rand, she will realize this. And what a heartbreaking tragedy that realization will be. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. As for now, Siuan's judgment faltered with Elida. Elida getting attacked by the Grey Man would be an event that would weigh pretty heavy on Siuan, as Elida will use it to her advantage. She will have much more reason to cast blame on Siuan and mar her credibility now, so things are about to get awfully dirty in the White Tower. Oh, and last but not least, we didn't see much of the Forsaken or Dark Friends action in this episode aside from Lanfear. With Elaine, Nye, Matt, and Min arriving in Tanchico, we think the race to the male Adam would bring us up to beat with Liandrin's side of things, and we've been literally craving the Liandrin arc since we last saw her. I think we're gonna get it in episode 6, so fingers crossed, guys. Marvelous verdict! Robert Jordan's books have erected a grand lore with varying cultures, robust personalities at the helm of them, and highly coveted objects such as the Saw Angreal. Now, the Sakarnin that we see in the series is a female Saw Angreal that has come into the possession of Moiraine, but will it end up in a Forsaken's hand? Maybe the last Forsaken whose identity hasn't been revealed yet. Or would it be Lanfear since she spoke about it in the dream with Rand? Well, that's something to think about. But we'll step away from this wondering before we get into any more name-dropping and borderline book spoilers. So, while Rand being the Kar-A Karn narrative should rule the day in the upcoming episode, there's quite a lot that we're excited for in the series right now. Okay, I know that some fans have trouble with things not being concurrent with the books, but Season 3 in particular has struck a chord with me. I'm enjoying most of the subplots, and you can't not love the camera work, CG, locations, and all the other cinematic elements Judkin's team has worked so hard to put together. That's it for me though, we're gonna sign off on that note. Do tell us your theories about episode 6, as we're really looking forward to reading some good takes. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, have a good time on the wheel. Ciao for now.